There he is, the man who is the difference so far in this game, Haris Fazlagic. His goal in the 22nd minute has the Brantford Galaxy up 1-0 in the CSL Championship game. Cal McClellan back here with Carmen Romano and getting ready for this one. We've got Neil Acharya, who's down on the sidelines. He's working hard for us, of course, and these two teams getting psyched up and getting in and getting ready to play the final 45 minutes. That's really going to be the difference. Not any way to put it, really.
Yeah, really. It's down to 45 minutes of soccer. It's been a long season for these guys. They started in late April, and here we are almost, obviously, October 31st. And, you know, now it really is a gut check time. You're down to the last 45 minutes. Can you finish it off? Can you get back in the game if you're Hamilton, Croatia? Can you hold on to winning the game if you're Brantford Galaxy? And, you know, that's what it's going to be about.
Let's hope they stay loose, of course, before down on the sidelines at the halftime. Commissioner Dominic DiGeronimo talking about new teams coming into the league. Of course, we see the success of two teams that were granted rights into the league last year. Pickering Scarves, they've already got the scarves done up and everything. So good luck, of course, to the team from Pickering, and we'll see how they fare next year. Who knows? They might be battling for this championship.
You know, that bodes well for the CSL. And then imagine these new franchises looking at this game today, and saying, you know what, this could be us next year. Why not us?
We don't have to wait. There's no rebuilding process. There's no growing process. You can go and be competitive right away. As Begovic took it off the foot of O'Keefe. Team switching directions, of course. And you really get a sense of how big some of these guys are. As you can see Golianin there. Team wins the throw, and Golianin looking for his teammate Gerhard, who does well to turn the corner, but Bulic pushes him down. No call, they play on, and will be a throw. But
so you're coming out second half. If you're Hamilton, Croatia, Coach Davidson, couple adjustments. I think he has to get a little more upfront pressure. I mean, Aiden O'Keefe has to maybe move up a little more. Jamie Dodds has to move up a little more to get more of a compact unit attack as opposed to being isolated. If you're the Galaxy, really not a lot of changes defensively. Keep that ball on the deck because you do have the wind against you, and that's their type of game. And I still think they want to exploit the left side. I think that's where they've seen an area that they can take advantage of. If they can continue to do that, obviously things will look good for them down the road.
Go down to Neil Acharya on the sidelines. Ronnie Davidson, 75.
Thanks a lot, Kel. I am here with Ronnie Davidson. Ronnie, tough first half. You're known for your up-tempo style and your control game. Did you get away from that in the first half against Brantford?
Not necessarily. I think the wind has played a factor in it. And going down at 1-0 at half-time against the wind, you know, I'm not going to say I'm entirely happy, but hopefully in the second half we'll pick that tempo game up.
What was the breakdown on the one goal that was scored for Brantford in that first half in the 22nd minute?
Bad decision making on our first touch up the field, and just bad mistakes and defensively for us, and we didn't track the runner.
Lastly, what was said to your team in the dressing room at the half coming into this second half?
To be more patient, get more of the ball down on the ground, and you know, try and play the game that we're good at. That's got us here.
Thanks a lot, Coach, and best of luck in the second half. That was Ronnie Davidson, head coach of FC Hamilton, Croatia, who also won Coach of the Year in the CSL earlier today. We're going to send it back upstairs now to Cal McClellan and Carmine Romano.
Thanks so much, Neil. Ronnie Davidson, of course, a lot to think about in that halftime. Not a lot of time to think about it, though.
No, he didn't. I mean, it's a 1-0 game. We had one chance. We had one breakdown on their right side, as he mentioned in the interview. At the end of the day, it's a championship game. Everything is tight. It should get, as the game moves forward, I think you'll see some more gaps opening up. And Croatia, as the game goes forward, they're going to have to start making some chances. They're going to have to take some chances as they go on the left sides and the right sides of the field here.
You can kind of sense already that it's started the exact same way that the game started, as maybe they've tensed up a bit as well, starting off on this one.
And having said that, the first 10 minutes, Croatia was the better team.
Absolutely.
They looked more comfortable out there as a unit, individually, and as a team.
Here's Hudson. Tries to play one across, but that goes absolutely nowhere. Fazlagic. Nice little touch on Uilic. I'll have it run out and it'll go back the other way. So
Ulic out of his normal position on the left side. He's on the right side, so having to work to get back.
Dragon. Luic. Nickname, of course, Dragon. You don't have to be really creative to come up with that. Damjanovic trying to pick out Golianin. Go right back to him. Here's that battle we anticipated. That round won by Hudson.
And as we anticipated in the first half, Cal, it's a little closer to us. So now you get to see how powerful, how big these guys are for soccer players.
You wonder if it was the same people on the far side. That's certainly what I was asking, because there's some big boys, especially the matchup on this side. Rutenboer popped it straight up. Flicking on, and another one. Poor clearance by Bakula. But it does the job, and finally out, bumping off, and there is Golianin. And Bilic. But his pass was errant, and Rutenboer is off to the races. Springing defender Zach Tate. Tate up joining the rush, playing it in. It's for Zlajic. Was trying to find a seam, but it wasn't picked up. And then you look up there, and it's only Shannon up front right now for
right
Hamilton,
now,
Croatia.
Shannon's out by himself as the lone striker.
Dodd's back doing work. Melford James coming all the way out of his net. And there's O'Keefe, tried to flick it back and realized that he had a little bit more room. Going back to grab it is Shannon before he takes a bump. But again, Hamilton, Croatia looking a little out of sorts. Their passes aren't necessarily as crisp as they want them to be.
They have the wind at their back, Gal, and they're going to have to take advantage of that. I mean, as Coach Davidson said, it was against them, and we were just down at the field doing interviews, and you could see what a difference it makes to have it at your back.
Certainly will be a factor, and you almost wonder, well, why don't you try and go in and get one quick while the wind's out there? Put your pressure on in the first 5 minutes, or do it in waves.
Yeah, a lot of times as a coach, what you want to do in the first 5-7 minutes, you know they're going to come out hard at you, and you really want to be composed. You don't want to get rattled, and if you can get over that first 5-7 minute hurdle, then all of a sudden the rest of the game will kind of look after itself.
It's an opportunity now. And again, great defending by the Galaxy, as they have just been very, very strong, and a good route taken, and Golianin maybe a little bit of frustration as he gives a push. It was very dangerous, of course, by the track. Golianin, we're waiting to see the color of this card. It's only a yellow.
Yeah, deservingly. I mean, Ranko Golianin, the ball's going out. He really has no business at giving Hudson that push behind the back. Referee has to give a yellow in that case.
Absolutely, no doubt. It was, if he found it more malicious. And of course, this is one of the problems with these fields that are so close to the track. As you can see right there, he tried to slow up right on the drainage and ended up going right onto the track. And
that track is hard. I mean,
absolutely is. James out to protest from his net.
Now you have to be careful. I mean, a play like that, even though it's not necessarily an innocent play, but it's that kind of spark right there that can get Hamilton a little bit of extra incentive as a team. So that's why Golianin, I'm very surprised, a veteran player like him, you know, where the play happened, just let it go out, and coming our way, no. You know, I'm surprised at that. And all of a sudden, you may give some extra incentive to the other team to say, hey, you know what? You just made me a little angry. I think I gave you a little extra effort out there.
Well, in a situation, especially when tempers weren't necessarily running that high, there was really no cause for it. It was rather out of the blue. So going right through the back that time, and Shannon trying to push off. Did a body land right on top of him, and that was in the form of Nenad Begovic.
Yeah, the Galaxy got to be careful here. I mean, if they start taking some needless fouls, it could play into Croatia's hands. Set pieces, Aiden O'Keefe here.
And Aiden O'Keefe, we talked about how good he is. This will probably be an in-swinger. Little far out for a shot, and definitely off to the side a bit, so not ideal, but definitely a dangerous pass. But it hits the head of Grutenboer and heads back the other way. Shot from distance is not going to cause much trouble, as watching it go by is Damjanovic.
Grutenboer, midfield. Obviously, you can see right there, good defending in the right spot, headed it away.
Very agile as well. He works hard, but he doesn't make mistakes.
It's his last year at McMaster University studying life sciences. Finished off his university career, and I'm sure that he'll be in the CSL next year.
Perhaps even defending a championship. Remains to be seen at this point. Still a little ways to go as Gerhardt gave chase, but playing it well was John Hudson. And Jelkovic looking for it there, but it didn't get all the way to him. Here's the aforementioned Grutenboer. He's in a battle with Leggett. Good job by Leggett to come out with it, and a nice turn. Good footwork from young Leggett. Two players occupying the same space. Now here's a chance. Still a little bit of patience, and Jelkovic just a step ahead of him. Melford James Jr. there to cover it up.
Good quick ball by Fazdajic, and Jelkovic just couldn't get that bad first touch, or else if he had had a better touch, he might have had an opportunity at going at net.
Down on the ground right there is number 6 in your program, Preston Corporal.
We haven't called Preston's name a lot today, and I expected a lot more of him as a front striker up there, and Cam, he just really hasn't been seen up to this point.
It looks also like we're going to have a substitution, and it looks to be Shannon who will be making his way off the field for Hamilton, Croatia. This is your first substitution for anyone and coming on to the game. Looks to be Domagoj Beslic. So Beslic.
And once again, here's another little tie-in. And obviously, because I was with the Galaxy this summer, Beslic is a player that came over and was with the Galaxy for 3 weeks. He was he trained with them, and things didn't work out. And where is he now? He's going to come back onto this field as the opposition, and you know how things work out. Maybe he's a forward. He's a crafty. He has a lot of moves. Will be interesting to see how his entrance to this game will play out.
Well, we know exactly what he's thinking about right now in the situation he's coming in. But now, goalie Annan still has it going. Got in Jelkovic in the middle. Goalie Annan's last touch was a little too hard, and it ran all the way to James. That substitution has not yet been made, by the way, so Shannon still has a little bit more time, as I'm sure he's thinking about options. Is the high boot coming up there? And as a result, it will be a free kick as Aidan O'Keefe will set up again, but Stanko Karasic got the boot up, and that was enough to warrant a spot.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, these start to become dangerous free kicks in these areas. Now, this is the second one in the span of 2 minutes here, so if you're Brantford, you have to be aware.
And there is Shannon, who's trotting off the field, and incoming, there's Domagoj, but it's going far side. Corporal had a foot on it. It looked like it might have already been out of bounds by the time he touched it. Good idea, though. Good idea.
The substitution, Beslic has come in. He's an attacking midfielder. Coach Davidson might put him right up front. It looks like he could put him up front with Corporal. Lots of skill, very tricky on the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And this may be an opportunity to push O'Keefe up a little bit more as well. Beslic gets his first touch. Sending it wide, and a little heavy was Dodds. We'll go back the other way as they were trying to put O'Keefe into the corner. Give him an opportunity to send one across the face of goal.
Still have a lot of midfield play, a lot of compactness to the game. We really haven't seen the teams come out and relax in the second half yet.
Dragan Uluic to throw it in. A lot of them wearing gloves too. You wonder how that would affect throw-ins too much when you're not really used to wearing them through the summer months. But this ball sent into the stands.
Got to go with that golf style, the one that gives you the good grip.
Absolutely. Gerhardt bumping. On a play, and the pressure still on now as Hamilton, Croatia maybe starting to build something here. A couple of free kicks outside the area and a string of throw-ins.
Yeah, you can see how now they're starting to maybe feel something out here in the last few minutes. They've put the play in the Galaxy's end for the and see if they can maybe spring something. This is how they had an opportunity against Croatia off a throw-in, so there's a little set play coming up here.
O'Keefe can also throw the ball, not just kick it. Chance at the top of the area. Ball rattling around. Brantford gets in the way, and it was Leggett who was bumping into Tom Bilic there at the top of the area. Both were fighting for it, and had one of them been there instead of two of them, they might have had a good crack at goal. And Jelkovic in the driver's seat. Golianin! 2-0 Brantford Galaxy.
You know, Cal, when you look at that play, Kyle Grutenborg starts that out. He looks up. It's all beautiful soccer down the right side. Very one touch, a very organized counterattack. And then Fazlajic, he could have finished that off, but he saw Golianin in a better position.
Very, very unselfish play by Haris Fazlajic, putting it right across. Golianin had a tap in, and the Galaxy have a 2-0 lead.
Well, I think that's maybe just kind of a little payback. You gave it to me first half, Golianin says. Fazlajic says, I'm giving it back to you second half, Franco.
And that's the chemistry that has been lacking so far from Hamilton, Croatia. If there's ever a difference, it's that right there.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle now. Now, Coach Davidson, he's got under fire. He's going to have to make maybe even another substitution. Everybody's going to have to start pushing forward a little bit.
Been something else watching this Brantford Galaxy team come together, and they have to be salivating at the thought of what is awaiting them.
Still have a half an hour. You know, this is the beauty of this game. You're in a situation with a half an hour left. Lots of things. If Hamilton, Croatia can get the next goal, all of a sudden things will change. So composure is the key here for Hamilton.
Preslagic is off again. Cutting in this time. Got Angelkovic in the middle. Tried to get it past a couple people, but didn't make it out. Begovic! A half volley from distance did no harm.
Good effort. I mean, you got to take it there. It's an opportunity going against the wind.
We have a flare on the track down there, and I'm wondering if it's causing any damage to this nice track and field facility.
I mean, the thing about the flares is it's going to, as you can see right now, it can burn a hole in the track, and that's not going to make the people at Centennial Stadium very, very happy.
No, obviously not. And flares are one thing if you're going to hold on to them and dispose them properly, as we've seen, but it's important to be respectful about these things. There's a long free kick from dead center. I'll have a go, but that was well ambitious as it struck the right upright.
Well, the sun's come out again, so I think the temperature goes up about 2 degrees when the sun's out, Cal.
Clouds have pushed off. Hard to believe we had snow not an hour and a half ago. Ball goes out of play, appealing for the throw. As Bilic wasn't able to keep it in play. And we'll go with Hamilton's sense of urgency now. Perhaps this is what they need to get it going. You always feel that you're always one goal away from being back in it. Well, now that's not the case. They really need to get going. And they'll earn a free kick right here.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, you called it right, urgency. You've got to speed the game up. Everything, you're under the gun with time. You're down 2 goals. Everybody's got to push forward a little more. You can see it right now. They've only got one, other than O'Keefe, they've got Ruzamovic back, and that's it. Everybody's pushing forward.
Bilic back into the box. Little flick on and a header guided safely out and over the bar by Oluic. O'Keefe going over, taking the corner kick. Fighting with the sun a bit. Shadows down there. O'Keefe into the area. All the way to the far side. Shot is blocked again and again. And good job by these midfielders getting back. There's Grutenborg. starting the other way, and he has Anđelković wide open on the far side. Plays the ball in. Fazlajic. And it's going to have to go for a corner kick.
Once again, that combination, Grutenborg, Fazlajic on the right side. Fazlajic's done a lot of running in this game, and he's probably been, this is one of his better games that he's had since he's joined the Galaxy.
Playing like an MVP right now, as Fazlajic has been everywhere.
I'm going to play her down here for, can't make out who it is.
They are calling over that if he gets some attention at this point and getting to his feet is, I believe you're right. Ivan Razumovic be heading to the sidelines, and it appears his day is done. He won't spend much time on the ground and no more on the field.
He picked up a knock in the first half, Cal, and I'm not sure if that's playing into the second one that he's picked up. So Danny Jurda comes in. Interesting to see where he sets up, if he sets up as a central defender.
Ball into the area. Cleared out by Bilic. O'Keefe. Ball was late for Corporal, and it was a poor one. Dodds watches it go out, and seems to be one of the main attackers they have. Is
so Jurda seems to have gone into the midfield, and Kirian Toth has moved to as a central defender along with Bilic.
Fazlajic gets behind the defense. Fazlajic dekes out the goalie, puts it away. 3-0 Galaxy. Surely the party can start now.
Well, I mean, what a game Harris Fazlajic has had today. I mean, this is his second goal. He set up the first one, and he did that all on his own. And how calm was he? He looked up, he saw Melford James come out at him, and he just calmly went to his right and slaughtered it away. Good composure there.
Harris Fazlajic.
Grutenborg with the header down.
And just doing well to get around.
He looks
John
up right
Hudson.
here, and then he says, I'm just going to take it, and slots it by. Classy finish.
Melford James just went on the head fake.
Brantford fans celebrating, enjoying their time now.
Corporal had his leg flicked out, and it'll be a free kick. And I know they want to get this started, but they're in a pretty good position here. And it begs the question why Corporal is back when services might be used, unless he's going to try and decoy for a kick, but now he'll make his way.
He's moved up. You're right. Probably should be a little more advanced position.
That's a nice strike, but it goes over the bar, hits the football uprights, which is, of course, out of play. A good little job there by Boris Rudelia.
That last goal must be deflating for Hamilton, because they're in a situation where if you can get one, you're still in the game. But that's the one that really all of a sudden changes the complexion of this game.
Anđelković. Holding it still. O'Keefe now, and another blind pass by O'Keefe that really was going nowhere, as some frustrations starting to mount. Oluic into the box, Gerhardt.
Good run down the left side by Oluic, and a nice cross. You know, early ball, tough ball for the defender and the goalkeeper, and it looks like Gerhardt may have gotten a touch on it. Take a look at the replay here.
It signaled a corner, and I think Gerhardt might have got there first, but good job by the defender coming back. As down 3-0, they're really not trying to get any more, or give away any more, excuse me. Here's the kick coming in, far post. Hudson headed it out.
When you're up 3-0, good effort by Kyle. I mean, you might as well take a crack at it, and once again, if it goes out, you just set your defense and get ready for the goal kick.
They just look so solid as a team today. And Preston Corporal, Aidan O'Keefe have not really looked themselves. Gerhardt. Pushing down Gerhardt on the far side, and that won't get you anywhere.
Croatia just has not had an opportunity today to get in the flow. You know, they've had a few spurts where they've moved up and they've had that spell, but just have not been able to get an offensive flow and continue the pressure on the Galaxy as this game has progressed. And whereas we talked about it at the opening, the Galaxy is a possession type of team, and they've been able to impose their possession on Croatia.
Bilic back to retreat. Dodds, not as noticeable here in the second half as in the first, but a nice turn there, creating some space. But the return pass was errant. Gerhardt, Pazlagic. They got to start looking for that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he might end up hurting them.
He set himself up in the middle of the field there, and you can see how nobody's picking him up, and that's where he's made his two dangerous runs from. So obviously they saw something, and as an attacking midfielder, it becomes dangerous because the defenders don't know who's to pick him up.
They're very good at picking those gaps out, and the footwork, first of all, for the Galaxy has been great today. The space they're able to create by themselves, let alone with the good passing they've done, has just worked wonders for them.
You know, we talked about that, you and I off camera, we talked about the width of the field and how Brian Timmins is a smaller field, which works to the style of team that Hamilton Croatia is. Now you get him on a bigger field where Brantford is a possession team, and maybe that's played into it. You can see how the possession game all of a sudden changes the dynamics of how your team is laid out.
Certainly the case London City plays on a very small field,
exactly,
and you find
yes,
that they'll do very well at home, but when forced to travel, it poses a problem.
Yeah, it's the home field advantage that you want to use.
Still a little bit of pushing and a little overzealous, I think, was the attacking substitute who had just come onto the field there. The former Galaxy member, Veslic. He gave a bit of a push in the back, and that was enough to get a free kick, stalling whatever momentum they had. O'Keefe, nice little flick. He's got Corporal wide. He goes inside to Dodds. Dodds still looking at Corporal instead. Corporal had a really good shot, but that was just tailing right as it went off his left foot.
He struck that well, had good power, obviously just went a little right of the goal, but that's worth an effort. You never know, something like that. All you need is a spark, and then maybe it can get you back into this game somehow.
Well, a goal right now certainly would make it interesting. It's hard to believe that the way the Galaxy have played, especially defensively today, that there would be any way back from 3-0 down, but don't tell that to Hamilton, Croatia. They continue to press. Dodds, step over, retreat to his defense. A luxury they can almost not afford. Now some nice moving by the red jerseys. Aidan O'Keefe went off his foot, and that one just went over the bar. What a strike, and left alone at the top of the area.
Yeah, he snuck in there over top. Take
Danny
there's
Jurda.
a reviewer that just came over top of there. He snuck in there, and Bakula was just a little late. Good effort, though. Excellent effort by Aidan O'Keefe. They'll have the Hamilton Croatia fans throwing flares onto the track, and they need to be careful with that. Well, do you want to get anybody hurt out there?
Well, especially if they're throwing them from the top row, and the people they're throwing them over is, here's another look at O'Keefe was stalled, but Jurda with the powerful right foot after. That was about a couple feet away from
nice effort.
finding goal anyway. You can see another player down for the Galaxy right now, and he's calling for a substitute right away. I can't.
Not sure if that's Begovic that's down.
I thought it was Begovic initially, and I think it is.
Yes, it is.
But he seems to be in a considerable amount of pain.
And he looked over to the bench and said, I need a substitute. He can tell right away.
He's got the left shin pad almost all the way off, so.
I think it's going to be Austin White coming in. Once again, one of our reserve players that was with us for about 6 weeks. And then once Coach Laszlo Despina sees him, he's pretty much become part of their team. So
Belic, Corporal, trying to turn the corner on. And a good job defensively.
Here's a substitution coming in.
To make it official, Begovic's day is going to be done. But perhaps not before this corner kick is taken.
There's a throw-in.
Oh, it was. Working on Grutenboer. Beslich flicked out. And again, solid defense around that 6-yard box. And now on the run. Uluich plays it in. Golianin was making a run there, but it never got to him. Dodds takes his space. Soft pass for O'Keefe.
Good tackle there by Stanko Kadasic. Good timing. Came off a real nice defensive spell back there. And here's a substitution. Austin White coming in. University of Waterloo, Warrior player. Central midfielder.
Ugella across the field. Leggett couldn't find it. Gave Tate time to get back at it. Tate will pop it up. We have another substitution on the far side. And this time it looks like the day is done for Aidan O'Keefe.
Yeah, Aidan O'Keefe coming out.
Would have liked to have had a better game, I think. Jerko Grubisic will be heading on the field. But
Aidan just couldn't get in the game, and Ronnie Davison set him up more of as an attacking midfielder. And when I went and saw them play last week, he was more of a forward. So I just wonder if he was out of position and just couldn't get comfortable, couldn't make the darting runs that he usually does. Just didn't see the Aidan O'Keefe that I'm accustomed to seeing.
And that we've seen for most of the season as well, and really didn't get a good opportunity. It was one thing that I was waiting for, was maybe is there going to be a good chance to strike a dead ball somewhere around the area, and all of them seemed to be a little off to the right or off to the left, or he was stuck on corner kick duty. So
yeah, and then again, that's a little bit of also the course of the play for the Hamilton Croatia. They just haven't been able to get in the flow, and you don't want to blame one player. As collectively as a unit, they just didn't get there.
It's been very difficult and frustrating. And Dodds. Now Corporal. And that goes off. It'll be a throw-in.
Good defending there by Zach Tate. Local Brantford boy who's had a great season.
Throw in to come. In the area, ball rattles around. Lots of legs getting tangled up, but as they've done all day, the Galaxy defense able to clear. And Jelkovic playing catch. Not able to get there. The ball coming back the other way. Beslich takes the throw quickly. He has the ball come back to him. Makes a couple nice moves, has Dodds. Took way too much time, and Dodds throwing up his hands in exasperation, excuse me.
We got a free kick here.
Now, ball around the area. Kick really didn't give them much, did it?
No, you know what? That was not a... When you have a free kick, you're in a situation where you really want to try to take advantage of that as if you're Hamilton, Croatia. This Corporal on the ball with...
Offer.
Nice header from Olic there. Spacula heading it out. And there's an effort from about 20 yards for Hamilton, Croatia.
We've got Neil Echaria on the sidelines. He's standing by with Aidan O'Keefe.
Thanks a lot, Kel. Aidan, it had to be tough out there for you guys today. You had the highest offense all year long, 51 goals for, and then you come into today's championship game and you can't find the back of the net. How tough was that?
Yeah, it was a hard game. Brantford really played well. They got us on the counter-attack there for 2 goals, so it was hard. We were pushing and pushing, trying to get the equaliser with the wind, just trying to break them down, but they've counter-attacked twice and scored 2 great goals.
What exactly is it about their formation or the way they're playing that makes it so hard for you guys out there to even get a shot off?
Yeah, they've got a lot of men in midfield, and they break from midfield. Like, so the third man running is what really, the number 8, just kept breaking from midfield and just making that run, and our players were, it's hard to track them.
My last question is, of course, you're the star of this team this year. You had 12 goals in the regular season, and now, obviously, with the season coming to an end, what's the plans for you going forward?
Well, I'll have to see what happens next year. I've got back to Ireland on Thursday, so I'll see what happens there. If I can get a club, then I'd love to come back and play here. Yeah, it's been great.
I'm sure they'd be glad to have you. Thank you a lot. Thank you very much. And we're going back upstairs now to Kel and to Carmen.
Thanks so much, Neil.
We got 2 balls in the field. We just had the Brantford fans starting to really get comfortable with 10 minutes to go. They had one of their voices at their home games, and many people that watch Rogers may know who he is. He's the host of Swap Shop, Giovanni Petiti, and who's also attached with the team. And he got the crowd going, just letting them know it's time to maybe start celebrating a little bit.
It's definitely been a dominating performance, especially here in this second half for this team from Brantford, the Galaxy, the number 7 seed coming into the playoffs. And boy, doesn't that just seem like forever ago.
Yeah, being close to the team, it was always in our minds, these guys got to get to the playoffs. These guys got to get to the playoffs. And it was not a comfortable getting into the, it's more of a back door getting in. And once they got in, they turned it on. They became a different team. They made a commitment to defense, and that was evident with the White Eagles. And the offense was always there, but they made a commitment to defense. And as you can see in this game, and they've just been a different team in the playoff run.
It'll be interesting, and I haven't checked this, but I would gander this may be one of the first CSL champions, assuming they hold on. We'll knock on wood, of course, at this point. But if this team were to win, more goals allowed than scored during the regular season.
I think their goal differential was -8, and of all the teams that got in the playoffs, I think they had the worst goal differential. So that didn't bode well if you want to go in with confidence.
But certainly an incentive to change the style of play and shore up your defense, and it's worked wonders for them. They're in the driver's seat here, and Angelkovic looking for more, but flicked out of the side, and a good job by Teryansky Toth.
I mean, you have to talk a little bit about the president and executive director of the Brantford Galaxy, Bosko Bodian and Jerry Sinek, who right now, in their wildest dreams, I don't think they ever would have thought that they would have been able to get to the CSL final in their first year, and with 9 minutes left, to be that close to winning the CSL championship. That must, I mean, that's the kind of stuff they make movies of, and I'm sure they're very, very proud. And Brantford's got to be really proud right now as a city and as an organization, because to have the championship team in their city, that's going to says lots.
Going to ground there and committing the last foul was Patrick Gerhardt, and chopping down Bezlic as Hamilton keeps digging. But you're absolutely right. It's a moment right now as we take a look at the replay. It's a moment right now for everyone involved in the soccer community in Brantford to be very, very thrilled with what they're seeing here today.
And I think you also want to mention Alan Perrin, Executive Director of Operations, for Hamilton, Croatia. I mean, for their first year, to be in the CSL final, to be where they're at, this bodes well for the Canadian Soccer League. These are the kinds of organizations that they want to come in, first class, from top to bottom. And like I said, they want to be able to attract the up-and-coming young stars in all these local areas, because they're going to have an opportunity someday to be on these fields.
And we talked about this, and this is the interesting thing, and I think it's goalie Annan being now sent off because I believe he has either some blood or something that he has to attend to, or no, he is being subbed out. But he's subbed out on the near side as to be able to show his support to his supporters and thank them for what they've done. A bit of a curtain call for big number 11. Here's a chance in the area, and a good job to get on top of it. And Damjanovic hasn't really been that busy today, but boy, would he love a clean sheet to hang on his resume in a CSL championship.
Now, Bezlic, that was his opportunity to get a little bit of a, 3 week with the Brantford. He was just dying to score there, and Damjanovic made a great save. And that's the kind of play that he's had since we got into the playoffs. He's been the most consistent player all year for Brantford, but more importantly, he made the big save when it had to, and that's what a goalkeeper has to do. As I'm looking down at Dick Howard, he's nodding. He's nodding in my approval, saying a goalkeeper has to do that. Give me the thumbs up.
The press continues forward. Even now, number 3, John Hudson, who had been in a defensive position all game, is just towing that back line. Everyone up now for Hamilton, Croatia. Bezlic gets pushed off, and he's been frustrated ever since he came on as he goes over to berate the linesman.
So this last substitution, I'm not sure if we caught that, Cal, was Ranko Golianin coming off for the Galaxy, and going on was Stefan Duncitovic, and he's also a reserve player. A young lad, 17 years old, grade 11, great future ahead of him, very talented. To be obviously playing on the bench with these guys, that shows the kind of talent that he has.
And now Adam Leggett, his day is finished. He gives way to Andrew Leggett, who will make his way onto the field. So perhaps now giving some players some time, but that's still not in the minds of Croatia. They press forward, but this one is cleared out, and Jelkovic didn't have it come to him. So the pressure again for the boys in red, and a good sliding tackle to clear the danger.
Kadicic, who's had a very strong game back there.
And we didn't call his name a lot, because it's just been those types of plays that have been fundamental for him, and he just goes completely unnoticed. He's able to clear without incident, excuse me. What you look for in your defenders, just solid in the whole back line.
Yeah, it's all positioning. A lot of time defending is positioning. It's not what you do, it's where you're at. And if you can be at the right spot and push guys away and keep them away from the middle of the danger area, that's what a good defender does.
Here in the 86th minute of play, a 3-0 lead for the Galaxy. It is all but over. The youngster giving chase. Duncitovic turned over. And Jelkovic. Gerhardt playing catch. Flicked in. And Jelkovic held, appealing, but you're not going to get a call like that when you're leading 3-0 with 5 minutes left. Because that one is just going to run down into the corner. Karasic will watch it go. Damjanovic will line it up.
Brantford fans really starting to feel it. We're under 4 or 5 minutes here, and they're starting to really get riled up underneath. You can see the trophies below. Everybody's starting to get around. They can get that sensation of what's going to happen here in 6 or 7 minutes.
A little bit of talking there between familiar friends.
Another substitution coming on. Got Bob Turnbull coming on, new Brock University player.
And if you're Zachary Tate there, who's coming off the field, I've never seen anyone that happy to be subbed off in my life. But he knows he can go to the bench, slap 5, grab a drink, and celebrate for the last 3 minutes.
Zach Tate is, once again, he started out as a reserve player in early training when the Galaxy first opened up. But Coach Despina saw his talent, and he basically played for the first team all year.
Bezlic looking for more.
Look how confident he's looking at on the ball today.
Thought he might have been bumped there, but he's not going to get that call either.
No.
Maybe a hat trick in the championship. That wouldn't be so bad, right?
What a spectacular game he's had today. This has been his game, obviously involved in all 3 goals. I'm sure he'll always remember his first Canadian Soccer League championship.
Miodragan Jelkovic leads to a curtain call. His day is finished.
And Patrick Mizik, another youngster coming in, local Brantford boy, very talented.
He's bundled up too as he comes on for these last few minutes.
Having been involved with the Galaxy as a coach throughout the year, our reserve team practice pretty much 90% of the time with the first team. And a lot of these players, as the season progressed, you could see their improvement. Because when you're playing with better players daily, it really starts to rub off on you. And some of these players, some of these wily veterans like Ranko Golian and Zvonko Bakula, these youngsters really learn throughout the year. And I think that's just an incredible lesson that a lot of times you can't get that. And kudos to them for working with these guys in a positive way.
Absolutely, and it sets it up for a good situation when one of these guys needs to be brought up and needs to be called up, that it's not an intimidating thing. You're practicing with these guys all the time. They feel like they're your teammates anyway, and there's not that separation that would exist. Into the 90th minute of play. There can't be a whole lot of injury time.
Yeah, what a feeling for the Brantford Galaxy as an organization to win in their first year the Canadian Soccer League Championship. That's incredible.
Reads well, doesn't it?
It sure does.
As the stomping and cheering continues. A few handshakes between supporters. And another substitution coming on for the Galaxy, giving everyone a taste of maybe having a chance to be part of this championship game.
Going to the Brantford fans and showing his appreciation.
This one rifled down, Fazlajic going over, jumping up with the fans. Playing out the string with 3 minutes of added time. And as you can see, the cooler is being drained as this is very stealthy, and they're trying to make sure that they can dump it on the coach. Corporal. Stepping up now. Ujalia, side, Jurda, into the area. And once again, this defense, bend but not break. Corporal, shot from distance, over the bar.
Yeah, you just said it, Bakula and Kadasic there throughout the year when Bakula came over, and you could see he just brought a whole different level to of organization back there. Solid central defender.
Damjanovic, the bullet, up over half.
Another substitution there. Jake Simmons just came on as the last substitution for the Brantford Galaxy. Another reserve player, Coach Despina, just trying to get everybody into the game to get that feeling of victory and being part of it.
And of course, take some players out of the game so they get the justified applause that they deserve for playing so well today.
I'm going to give the Hamilton, Croatia fans kudos because they are still banging on those drums. They're still waving those flags. They're losing 3-0, but you know, they're still in the game enjoying it, and that really is a tribute to their fan base.
They've done a lot this year, and you can't take that away from Hamilton, Croatia. They're looking to do a little bit more before this one is over, but Damjanovic comes out to the side to clear that one. Brudenbauer had it go off him. Corporal still trying to make things happen. It goes off of his foot. We've played 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the added 3.
Well, when you look at this game, Cal, at the end of the day, the team that was able to impose their style of play, and the Galaxy with their style of play, a possession game, they really exploited the left side. Golianin and Fazlajic obviously had a little bit of something special going on, and that was the difference in the game. And Croatia just wasn't able to have a sustained attack.
And just with a emphatic clearance by Stanko Karasic as he sends it away from the corner. He's more than happy to do so. And you know, you have to play 90 minutes or you have to play the whole. They didn't play 90 minutes of great soccer, but they played 80 minutes of very, very, very good soccer. And they dictated the play for almost the latter half of the game. So you can forgive them if they took a few minutes to get adjusted, because in the end, it won't matter at all. And going to ground after the tackle by Boris Vujela.
So right now, if you're the Brantford Galaxy, you can take a look out there. There's a lot of reserve players, and I know that Bosko Bodian and Jerry Sinek were very proud of what the accomplishments. And we got Dunstan Tovek, who's making an attack here. Very proud of the reserve, the way that the reserve team played this year, finishing second in the league. And it bodes well for their future as an organization to have a strong reserve team.
There's a long shot that goes over the bar. And you have to figure this could be the very last kick of the game. As soon as Melford James sends this one high, the whistle will most likely
You take
blow.
a look at over the Brantford bench.
They're still getting
Coach
it ready.
Despina, there's Ranko Golianin. There's the cooler. Here comes the cooler. Are they going to get to him? Are they going to get to him? They got him. They got him. There it is.
The 2010 CSL champions, the Brantford Galaxy. An emphatic 3-0 victory over FC Hamilton, Croatia.
You can see it out there. The players really showing their excitement for winning this championship. Coach Despina, what an outstanding job to come over in his first year to take his team to the CSL finals and victory.
Absolutely. A wonderful sight. And great to see so many young faces on the field at the end. And was very comfortable for the last 20 minutes or so for this team.
Well, when they got that second goal, obviously that made them relax a little bit. And then Croatia just saw the hurdle, and then the third goal, obviously, that was the dagger. And after that, there just wasn't anything for Hamilton Croatia. Having said that, a successful year for their team, their organization, their fan base, and it bodes well for the future for Hamilton. Tried. Hamilton Croatia came out, and then they had a little bit of a spell for 4 or 5 minutes, and they could get the ball to the attacking third. They just couldn't get it beyond the attacking third, and that was the difference. And then the second goal, as Dick mentioned, that was it. That's the one that just kind of said to them, wow, it deflated us, and then the third one came, and they couldn't do anything about it.
It was very difficult. I feel for Hamilton Croatia, because after that second one went in, like, you'd try and force on, but I think that was that just moment where they committed to an attack and just left themselves so vulnerable on the counter, and then by then the third goal went in. That was all she wrote.
Yeah. Dick, you agree with the same analogy?
Yeah, no, the Galaxy were full value for the victory, and 3-0 I feel is always a good score. I always like to win games 3-0 because it's convincing. It shows you defensively you're well organised and you can pop the ball in at the other end.
You know, the only thing I want to add before, I'm not sure how much time we have, but I do want to, Alan Perrin and his organization, Hamilton Croatia, kudos to them. I mean, to be here first year, fantastic fan support, fantastic team. It's just a situation where for the CSL, these are the kinds of organizations you want moving forward. And so, you know, Alan was very gracious all week. I called him a couple of times and gave me a lot of information, and I want to tip my hat to him because the first-class group.
Yeah, first class as far as expansion goes as well, Cal.
No, absolutely. I mean, you see these two expansion teams, Milltown FC, put together a very good run this year, and always community-based, and we can't stress that enough. That it is so important for soccer in this country, if we're ever going to get to be big on the world stage with a lot of good homegrown players, is to have situations like this, have people putting their time and their money in to grow the game from the ground up, and this is first-class evidence of it here today.
Dick?
Yeah, well, 4 teams coming in next year apparently, and that augurs well for the future. So the CSL is alive and growing, and it's great for the game, and hopefully the expansion to the West Coast will be even more so.